kill.
Ha! Hardly broke a sweat.
Looks like another victory!
Alert. Attackers incoming.
Wait!
Oh, I guess they didn't have enough.
I am pissed.
True self is without form.
Get out of there! Move! The dragon becomes...
Fall back!
Multi-kill.
Fall back! I'm too young to die!
Team kill. Defeat.
Warning. I am far from a lawyer. I don't have a degree in law, and I can only do with what I am able to find. And this video is my opinion, so that way no one can sue me. Also, please do not try to contact or harass anyone I mention in this video. If you do that, you're kind of a dick. Anyways, enjoy the video. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Darkness, and I am DarknessStone. You guys should know this. When I first got into what I am talking about today, I was furious. The amount of gall in this situation, let alone the work environment, frustrated me. This is a lawsuit that goes into the mainstream media, and it deserves to be blasted from the rooftops.
Bunker, 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 bunker.
This company has been at the forefront of toxicity for years. I have indulged in their games before. I won't say that I was perfect, nor am I exempt from putting them on such a high pedestal, but it does not defy the actions taken, nor does it refute my words today. Today we are talking about the creators of Overwatch, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. Today we are talking about Activision Blizzard and their lawsuit from the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Now, this isn't the first time Activision Blizzard has gotten into controversy. They got in huge trouble when they banned a player named Blitz Chung, a person who played Hearthstone, one of their games, professionally. He got banned when competing in a tournament because he showed his support for the Hong Kong Liberation Movement, which was a huge thing in 2019, the time of this story. He stated while playing, "Liberate Hong Kong, the revolution of our times." His feed was shortly cut thereafter. They then kicked him from the tournament, forfeited him the $4,000 that he has already earned in the tournament, and banned him from any Blizzard event for the next year. This led to a boycott of Blizzard, with thousands of people deleting their Blizzard accounts. Eventually, they got rid of all 4 ways to disable your account at a time. Each time someone tried to delete their account, they were given an email about their email codes have been locked. I know this for sure happened because it happened to me. I tried to delete my account at the time. I only had it for Overwatch on PC, and I sure as hell was not going to support them after that. I was given the same error, and I wasn't able to delete it. It even got so bad that a senator wrote a letter to Blizzard. Activision is no better. Putting microtransactions in games you need to buy, not free ones you have to buy for like $60, is shitty. As well as they had their controversy with Netflix. But this one, As soon as I found out, the people in my Discord can attest to this, I was miffed by what I read. Now, I should explain everything. Activision Blizzard. They have been investigated for 2 years at this point, and a lawsuit targeting them has now come up against them versus the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Word for word, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing is an agency of California state government charged with the protection of residents from employment, housing, and public accommodation discrimination, and hate violence. Basically, they make it so companies can't pay you differently because of your sex, race, or identity. This is an amazing thing. However, just from me explaining what they do can make you guess what they did to get sued. Now, they have a lot that they're being sued for. We have a whole report on it, the actual legal document, with 10 causes of action. Do you know how bad you need to fuck up to get that many? I mean, God. Now, I'm a man of many talents as well as many faults, but one of my special talents is I somehow understand most legal jargon. One day I was reading a legal document and somehow it just clicked with me. I understood it, and I don't know how. If you ask me to teach you, I will not be able to. Now, I have read through this entire document, and I will tell you, it pissed me off. There were a lot of stupid things for a company to do. The biggest issue isn't the allegations or the lawsuit, no. It is that the plaintiff sourced something terrible. Someone who no person should have to sit next to. That their voice has been known to make people's ears bleed and have their brain turn to mush from the insane personality and stresses. Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian. Okay, now for real, let us get into the real issues. We will go through this document in the way that it is introduced, beginning with the introduction of the lawsuit, beginning on page 2. I have a link in the description if any of you wish to follow along. Now, when it comes to legal jargon, the reason they speak so strangely or seem to run on is because they need to be exact in what they are saying. This introduction introduces gaming as a whole and how sexism has been a thing in the gaming community for years, when they are now only slightly lower than half of the gamer population. They say that involvement here is long overdue. This also states what Activision Blizzard does in detail. Their making of games, the companies and their subsidiaries, or companies that they own, as well as stating that Activision Blizzard operates world-spanning esports events for the games under their umbrella. They then state that 20% of their workplace is women, even though the shifting world of gaming has been around 41% female. Now, I believe that's kind of a weak point because, yeah, even if a demographic has gotten larger, it doesn't mean the percentage should shift with it. That would mean people will lose their job with the excuse of, oh, we need to meet insert shift topic percentage here, and you are not part of said shift topic. But I could see where they are coming from on this point. Their next sentence I do agree with because it is factually correct, but the way they say it is kind of wrong, saying the president of the company has always been a white man. How many CEOs have there been for this company? As far as I've been able to find, 3. Jim Levy, with the co-founders of Alan Miller and David Crane in 1980. Speaking of Crane, look at this man. Handsome fellow. Then there was Bruce Davis till 1991, when it was bought by the current CEO Bobby Kotick. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. So that's 3 presidents or CEOs in the last 40 years, and only one really had to earn it, the first one who made the company, and the third bought it. There hasn't been an opening in that job because a person there has not stepped down. There hasn't been much a chance for a woman or someone of color to jump in. Girls were a minority in gaming in the industry in 1991, so I understand how there has not been a CEO of color or one of the opposing gender. However, in the next sentence they do make a fair point, and that's how very few women have ever reached higher up roles in the company. That I can see, but they also show that women who reach such milestones gain a lower salary than their male counterparts, which is shown from the defense records. They show it with the summary compensation table. They then list in the 4th statement that women across the whole company have faced similar situations, females earning lower wages when they start out and earn less for similar work. From my opinion straight out, I think this is stupid. Why not pay women equally? They are literally doing the exact same thing as you. Why not pay them the same? It's a bad faith argument to say that they deserved lesser pay. There are very few jobs that a man can do that a woman can't. For example, sperm donor. Another is Catholic priests, with the Bible saying that women can't speak in church. A silent church service I'm pretty sure would bore people more than a normal one would. Men can't donate eggs or be a surrogate, be a mermaid. And for some reason, many websites use panty sellers as a profession. Okay. I struggle to actually find jobs that the opposite sex couldn't do. So paying them differently is kind of a weak leg to stand on. Like, is it made of like twigs? I can't wait for Activision Blizzard to try to defend us in court. In their 5th statement, they get into some of the bigger problems when it comes to safety in the company. This is where we get into the quote-unquote frat boy environment. Now, I will remind you that this was a 2-year investigation, meaning to get mentioned so heavily in this lawsuit, it means that these were not singular incidents, or else it would have been stated. These happened more than once. Quote from the lawsuit. In the office, women were subjected to cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Unquote. Who in the living fuck thought this was an appropriate way to run an office? Tell me, why did no other male see this and see how wrong it was? Breathe. Okay, I know why there might be excuses that they didn't want to lose their jobs or get in trouble, but tell me, then why did you try to do nothing to stop it? I also learned while making this video that other males were harassed. I say the same thing for the women as I say to the men. Why didn't you try to stop it? Women are not tools for your entertainment, nor are they tools to get the percentage you want on your tax write-offs. They are human beings, just like you all. Their gender does not define that. And note, this is plural. That means that it most likely happened more than once. Not to mention the amount of drinking in the office is fucking stupid, and I can understand why they describe it as a frat boy culture. The male counterparts would proudly come to work hungover, give their work to others, and talk about sexual encounters in the female body, as well as joking about rape. The fucking gall of these people. Rape is nothing to joke about, especially in the workplace. Why do you think that's the perfect environment to joke about it? I know Activision Blizzard games have had toxic people. COD and Overwatch especially. It's what made it easy for me to just drop Overwatch. I was a really good tank and healer player. The toxic people in that game made it so hard for me to play some days. I left a bit before Mariah came out, I think, if that's how you pronounce it. Since then, I haven't really been following it. The sixth statement explains some of the more specific topics of the frat boy culture. The women who had to constantly fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male peers, and peers has huge quotation marks around them. They were also getting groped while these Q calls were happening. Some by high-ranking individuals in the company. And there were no repercussions. Now that is one of the biggest things that piss me off the most. I have no idea how someone can think groping someone is a good idea. Next, they bring up a damning point. A female employee committed suicide while on a business trip with a male supervisor who brought butt plugs and lube with him on the trip, with the next paragraph showing what happens when they do complain. If they complain, they are put off from projects and they can be subject to layoffs. Also, by the female proportion of the company, HR was not held in high regard. There were complaints given to HR, including one to J. Allen Black, the president, but no action was fucking taken. The human resource personnel were close to the harassers. It was a huge lose-lose situation for those being harassed. This is not what HR is for. These people should lose their jobs. They need to be unbiased and work for the betterment of the company royally. They have screwed up royally, putting everyone in danger. Only if they did their fucking job. The whole next part of the lawsuit is talking about the parties in the lawsuit, the basics of the lawsuit, the date in which the investigation started, when the investigation was filed, etc. If you are following along, we are now heading to page 11 of the lawsuit on the factual allegations tab of the suit. From statement 31 to 34, it speaks on the lack of equal pay and opportunities, which is very obvious from the previous section, but they also list it again for legal reasons. Statement 35, I'm sure many of us can relate to. A female employee was rejected a promotion that she was working hard towards because she had been doing work outside of her job description. She was told it was not her turn and others deserved to be promoted ahead of her. That could be a literal version of "Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox." She was eventually promoted after 3 years. However, a male counterpart was promoted within a year of his hire and was given opportunities to allow him for further promotions. This is actually a really good example of sexism in the company. This woman had the job for months before the man who was promoted and did much more work, yet he was the first to be promoted even though he did less. There is another example in section 36, and in 37 it states that some higher up men would give their responsibilities to lower leveled women and play Call of Duty. How some refused to communicate what they needed to the female employees. Section 39 then states some stupid fucking reasoning by the staff, saying that they cannot risk promoting a woman to a higher position, saying you might get pregnant and like being a mom too much. Bitch! People can love their children and still work. How narrow-minded are these people? Section 39 states that supervisors ignored medical restrictions and gave them negative evaluations when they were out on maternity leave. How the hell did people not notice this? They weren't working, they were on leave. What could you give them evaluations when there was nothing to evaluate? They also state that women were criticized for picking up their children from daycare, even though the men weren't doing their job and just playing Call of Duty. You have no ground to stand on when it comes to complaining. Those of color had just as many issues, with examples in section 40. Ending in section 45, it explains that these statements in some explain the pay gap, harassment, promotion, and termination practices of Activision Blizzard or the defendants. Now we move to the category called sexual harassment, which if you are following us, it is on page 14. Statement 46 goes over what we talked about before, except one thing in the beginning. It says specifically, female employees almost universally confirmed that working for the defendants was akin to working at a frat house. Some of you might not understand the importance of that statement. In law, universally is a very strong term. It can be damning. That means a large majority agreed to this, pertaining to all without exception while having the relation to the entirety. That means at least 51% of the employees agree to working in this place is like working at a frat house or have been sexually harassed or assaulted by their male counterparts. But that is if they are lucky. The percentage could go all the way to 99.9%, and that could even go to one female employee saying they did not witness this. This is a large but damning area. Now we're going to do some math. According to The Guardian, a news site, 20% of Activision Blizzard's employees are female. That means 20% of their 9,500 employees, assuming most of them live where the lawsuit takes place, are female. meaning they have around 1,900 female employees, give or take. If we go with the lowball estimate of 51%, that means 969 women have been exposed to this harassment, whether it be groping, sexual comments, or anything else. May I remind you that this is the lowest fucking estimate. This is fucking awful. Seriously, how fucked up do you have to be to allow this to happen, or to even fucking participate in it? If we go with the high estimate of 99.9%, that means 1,898 people would have been assaulted or harassed at this company. This number could be higher or lower based on the evidence that I may not have, but that doesn't change that this is an awful business practice. I would love to get actual evidence on this to see how many people went through this. People who are unsafe have more problems in their work. They're less creative, they work less, and they have a lot harder time working. That's not just me spouting shit, that's fucking science. They then give specific examples of harassment some women at the company face. One where male employees would come over to the woman's workspace and make comments about her breasts. Another example is female employees that worked on the World of Warcraft stated that their superiors would hit on them, make derogatory comments about rape, and engage in demeaning behavior. I am having to hold back the urge to slam these fucking insects yet again. You do not treat women like that. I understand flirting if you think you're gonna try to date them, but if they say no or they say that they're uncomfortable, you fucking stop. You also don't walk up to a woman and talk to her about her breasts. What the fuck is wrong with you? Your mother would be ashamed or rolling in their graves. Would you want people doing what you're doing to your mom, sister, or your daughter? No! And if you do, you're kind of a fucked up person. There's even a statement about a male supervisor telling a male employee to buy a prostitute to cure his bad mood. Bruh. Hell yeah! I know how to make my day better! Chlamydia, here I fucking come! In statement 47, they give us an actual name of someone who was able to get away with blatant sexual harassment. Alex Astrobabi. I'm pretty sure I said that completely wrong. Who I will just call Alex because of my speech impediment, and I cannot count on saying that name correctly the amount of times I have to say it. At BlizzCon, it was noted that Alex was hitting on female employees, attempting to kiss them, and putting his arm around them. He had to eventually get pulled off them by supervisors and other males. His harassment was so prevalent that his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite. How the fuck is he not fired? His conduct was known by the higher-ups, with even the president J. Allen Brack allegedly have many conversations with them. How one of these conversations didn't end up with a boot up his ass, I will never know. It will be by the time I'm done. And he never learned. He kept harassing and groping people. Oh, trust me, my blood is only at a slight boil at this point. Section 48, page 15, line 17 to 23, the suicide incident. It is stated that a woman killed herself on a business trip with a male supervisor who she had a sexual relationship with. When he was questioned by the police, he admitted that he brought a butt plug and lube with him on the trip. On a business trip. She also may have had other instances of sexual harassment that led up to this incident. An example given was a holiday party before her death where male employees were allegedly passing around a picture of the victim's genitalia. Now, time for the first cause of action, starting on page 16 and 17. Employment discrimination because of sex compensation. This is listing things that Activision Blizzard did to break the government code that makes it illegal to discriminate against employees because of their sex. They offered women lower compensation and pay at higher, they assigned them at lower roles, paid them less for their work at the same level as their male counterparts, and gave them less advancement opportunities. Section 60 states that the defendants or Activision Blizzard were willfully malicious, fraudulent, oppressive, and they were committed to injure female employees in a conscious disregard for their rights. From what I have read from this suit, I cannot agree with them more. Of course, these are allegations, but this is almost universally agreed to by the female base of the company. Second cause of action, employment discrimination because of sex. Promotion. This section is very similar to the last. Instead of talking about the majority of money and earnings, this has to do with discrimination when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to promotions and hire. They again mention the atrocities and the way that they were breaking the law, and they move on to the next case of action. Third cause of action, employee discrimination because of sex, termination. This cause of action speaks on how women were more likely to get terminated than their male counterparts. The evidence for the accusation here has been shown in the main segment we have already gone through, such as having a higher chance of getting let off if they have complained to the HR personnel about their harassment, which in turn could cause them to have monetary and non-economic damages. Fourth cause of action, employment discrimination because of sex, constructive discharge. To those of you who do not understand understand what constructive discharge was, it is where a person must leave their workplace because of a hostile work environment. In simple terms, Activision Blizzard made the working conditions for the women there unbearable. If you haven't already been able to tell from everything we have covered, including the cube crawls, have been added to this. You might have some earwax, but please do not make me clean it out. To quote the document, page 20, section 87, lines 19 and 20, defendants effectively forced female employees to leave their employment with the defendants. Fifth cause of action, employment discrimination because of sex, harassment. This one is almost self-explanatory from what we have seen thus far, and we're not even going to gain an extra 10 minutes by repeating things. I'm not that much of a dickhead. Sixth cause of action, retaliation. Retaliation in the legal sense is to discriminate against someone who has filed a complaint, testified, or assisted in the proceedings with a lawsuit against the company. And if you're paying attention, this has to do with the HR complaints that we had talked about earlier. Those are protected activities under law, meaning they cannot be discriminated against for doing said actions. Those, however, were not helped by Activision Blizzard. According to the investigation stated in this lawsuit, they were rejected job opportunities, they were given negative performance reviews, and constructive termination and a selection for layoffs if they did complain, or did anything of the sort. With this being said, the company also have to end up dealing with the consequences of this treatment. Women suffered lost benefits, loss of future employment, financial loss, as well as non-economic damages, including but not limited to emotional pain, humiliation, embarrassment, sadness, and mental anguish, and an amount to be determined at trial. Honestly, in action, I think we have an open and shut case. These actions could lead all to the above fairly easily. I mean, getting insulted can make most of those things happen, not counting the stress of the financial side of adding on. You couldn't leave your job, you needed money. Not to mention that the stories of what happened to other women at the company. This will be extremely hard to disprove, let alone fight with every other cause of action. I also honestly think that this might cost them the most, if they determine that in the trial that this is significant. Seventh cause of action, failure to prevent discrimination and harassment on behalf of group. This one is on behalf of every employee that was harassed or discriminated against, aka the group. It states that Activision Blizzard failed to have an effective sexual harassment policy, which, yeah, is kind of obvious from what I've read thus far. Failed to adequately train supervisors, which is almost a given if they're allowed the harassment to go on. Managers and supervisors are counted on the prevention of discrimination and harassment based on sex. They also failed to make these actions stop in the workplace. The eighth cause of action is the same, but for DFEH, or the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, basically stating things similar to the last action, but to the disregard of legal code, not the employees. Ninth cause of action, unequal pay. Here they state the labor code, 1100-197.5 subsection A1. An employer shall not pay any of its employees at wage less than the rates paid to employees of the opposing sex for substantially similar work, when viewed as a composite of skill, effort, and responsibility, and performed in similar working conditions. To put that in very simple terms, it means that a person who is working at the same level with the same skill set should be paid the same regardless of sex, and Activision Blizzard has broken this code by paying the women less. They received lesser pay and compensation, even though they worked just as hard, if not harder. Finally, the 10th cause of action, waiver of rights, forms, and procedures, and the release of claims. This is an extremely shady part on behalf of Activision Blizzard. The action basically explains that a person should not waive the right to keep employment, have employment, or have employment-related benefits. This includes the ability to pursue legal, civil action, or sue them, file a complaint, or advise for public prosecutor, state agency, law enforcement agency, or any other court. This means that taking action for the assaults they would have gotten while on the job shouldn't make them lose benefits, bonuses, or promotion opportunities. Any of that. But as we have been able to read from the document thus far, that is not the case. Because complaining to HR who were close to those who were accused get them laid off or not even let them get promotions. All of this ends with the prayer of relief and the demand for a jury trial. Now, this whole situation from start to finish is terrible. I hate thinking about how much shame and harassment the woman at this company had to put up with, and for how long. This investigation lasted for 2 years, and this could have been going on for much longer. The audacity of the supervisors and other male employees. They're not men. They're animals. Sick people who do not understand that those of the opposing sex are human. It also came to my attention that it wasn't only females getting harassed, other men have come out about being harassed too. And to those who harass people, get help. Stop being boot-licking scumbags who have no worth to society. I'm sure you wouldn't want people doing this to your families. Your mother, your sisters, your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your children, and family not on the gender spectrum. You wouldn't want them harassed, groped, or end up like that poor lady who ended her life. I'm a man with no children. I'm 22 after all, and I'm not ready for a child, or even though I would love one. One thing I do know is that when it comes to my fan base, I am seen as a father figure. To one of my friends in real life, I am a father figure to them because their parents don't give them the support they need. And if someone did that to my child, I'm sure I would know the rage of a father. I would rain hellfire upon those who hurt my baby. I cannot imagine the pain of the families and the victims are feeling, let alone the victims themselves. One thing I also am arranged about is about them making jokes about rape, which is nothing to joke about. Those who joke about it in a vain way, not an understanding way, don't know what it's like to be a victim. You don't know what it's like to feel powerless. You do not know what it's like to be on the receiving end. It's never fun when the gun is pointed at you. So I understand why joking about it can make many people angry. One thing in this world that we have is ourselves. And when that is violated, the way becomes blurry. Those who indulge in the activities stated in the legal document need to be held accountable to the full extent of the law. They have left a stain on the victims' lives permanently, and the company has been irreparably damaged when it comes to the professional sphere. What woman is going to want to work for a company that has this terrible rep with female employees? They have destroyed themselves. And everyone on this side of the screen, protest, post, fight, give your opinion. It is time to fix this. This is your Call of Duty. Now that the video is over, let's head to the fan art feature. Thank God I actually got through this part of the recording. I have recorded this thing 4 separate times because I kept spiking the audio. Now we have quite a few pieces of fan art today because I have so many backed up that I need to do a read of quite a few. We will start with Alabaster Litzo on Discord, and they made this drawing of my ARG of Darkness shooting lightning. The power he holds is very strong. I wonder how strong. But Alabaster, you are always an amazing artist and a joy to be around. Thank you so much for this fan art. Next up is from Artsy Patchwork on Twitter. They made me a Hollow Knight. Look at me go, I'm going to slash with a nail. But I do love the way this looks. It's very nicely done. It's really cute. I think you did an amazing job. Thank you so much for this. I am going to go kill bugs now. Yeah! Up next is from Bread on Discord. Bread on Discord is an old school fan. They made a lot of art back in the day. They made this little piece of fan art when I told my Discord I now have the license to carry, or license to carry a gun. And basically I said, now for my neutral special, I wield a gun. And they made this little art piece of me holding a Nerf gun. I love it very much. Thank you. While I was reading this, my brother called me and just said, can you get me some Doritos? Sorry about that, Bread. But this art is amazing. Thank you so much. Up next is from Chinsena Arts on Discord. They made this lovely piece with me and a Monokuma mask. They tried their best to recreate my Darkness background. Just a quick quiz for you. I made that with an Earthbound background generator. And I just thought that looked the best. But this piece of artwork is very well done. The shading, the lighting, the way dark is drawn. I love it a lot. Thank you so much for this. Up next is from Ina on Discord, and I cannot type the backwards E, please forgive me. But Ina on Discord made this lovely piece of fan art of my character Darkness. I would honestly use this as a profile picture. This is a very well done piece. The shading is lovely, the lines are very well done. It has a nice soft vibe to it. I honestly love it a lot, and plus it's very stylized. Thank you so much for this. Up next is God's Demon on Discord. He gave me them hips. Woo! But I think it was called Gold Lined Scarf. And it's a very, honestly, I love God Demon style. It's very unique. My mom thought that I was a woman in this style multiple times. But I honestly really do love this art style. The coloring, the shading, the nice view it gives is just amazing, and it just lets your eyes follow the lines. Thank you so much for this. Up next is from Innocent Bean 666 on Discord. You do not do this. Yeah, that was me being pissed off, alright. I honestly love the sketch of this art piece because it reminded me of like a Japanese poster. It was really cool. And I honestly do love the colored version of this. Do I have this up on my wall? No, but I should. I should get this up on my wall. But thank you so much, Innocent Bean 666. Oh yeah, the reason I said the wall thing is because I also have a fan art wall in my room now. Up next is from Karma a Gay Potato on Discord. they made this Danganronpa inspired piece of my avatar, and I got truth bullets. Pew pew, motherfucker. You lie. Oh god, I just thought of the eating sugar shit. But they made this wonderful piece of fan art with me with truth bullets based on Danganronpa, and I really do love the way it looks. Thank you so much for this. Next up is from Missile Dragon on Discord. Look at this, I am Rayquaza. Honestly, my favorite legendary I think is Jirachi, because I think their powers are very interesting, and I watched that movie a lot. Lots of people had a crush on Misty. I had a crush on May. But I like this art piece a lot. The Rayquaza added with my style and my darkness is very nice. I do appreciate Missile. Fuck. Up next is from Plutonium T on Discord. They drew me in a maid dress with a cupcake. It's just fuck you, Ponder. Yeah, my parents do not like when people draw me as a female or in a maid dress. They think it's weird, and so do my grandparents, but I love it. I think it's adorable. But this is a very cute piece. The pink, the pastel colors. I am a fucking pastel bitch. And I'm willing to admit that. Up next is from Scarlet Rosalia on Discord, and they made this little gif of me. And it looks really good. I don't know how else to describe it. It's very well done, taking off my glasses, smiling. It looks very, very good. Thank you so much for this little animation. Up next is from Sleepy Green Tea on Discord. This one I do have hanging up on my wall. It is a picture of me and I think their avatar in maid dresses. And some reason my thing is short. You're going to have a big issue if I do not have tight underwear. But it's a very nice piece. The colors are very nice. I like the style of it. Green tea style is always something I look forward to seeing. Because it's smooth, soft. You look like you can give anyone in their style head pats. Thank you so much, Green Tea. I appreciate it. This next one made me flip the fuck out because I thought it was amazing, and they put an amazing title to go with it. This is from Snoopy on Discord, and they put it with they basically said with it, there's light in him somewhere. This is a beautiful piece. This looks like something you'd find on a card or something. This is just beautiful. Doing with the crystal theme, the darkness theme. It has the old scarf, but at this point I do not care from how pretty it looks. It is just amazing. I do not know how to describe it. They did it with the hair so well. He may not have the beard, but man, look at that. Look at the chiseled face. Look at the that everything is drawn. It does have blood on it, and I do not mind it. It is so fucking cool. Thank you so much for this, Snoopy. Up next is from Tora Tiger on Discord. They actually posted a speed paint of this on their TikTok. They are a friend of mine, and they get on to me if I'm not taking care of myself. Which I tend not to do. But they drew this little picture of the avatar kicking in the door hey, ding dong. You're not taking care of yourself? I'm going to, bitch. I'm gonna fucking stab you with love, motherfucker. But this is an amazing piece of fan art. Thank you so much for this. Up next, and lastly, is from Zora Uzumi. Zara Uzumi on Twitter. They made this piece that's very nice. It's on classical art, just like Missiles. It has color. It's very well done. The posing is very nice. I do not know how they did the shading so well with colored pencils or whatever they used, but it is very well done. I honestly would have. This goes on the Darkness Fridge pap magnet. This is very nice. Thank you so much for this. I could see all the effort you put into it. Well guys, that's going to end this video. Don't forget to like, favorite, or subscribe. Whatever you feel like doing. I'm not going to pressure you. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See ya!
Enjoy the dog.